Warning: the views and opinions expressed in this program are our own and/or those of our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our employers. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Are you running towards something to grow, or are you running from something?
What type of check boxes have you added to your list, Glenn, over the years where you were like, all right, I think it's time for me to consider changing shops?
Now, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up now. Deal leaking. So you kind of need to make a decision. What's important? Is it important to do 50, 60 million, have no work-life balance, or do that much, have somebody to help you out, and maybe your comp plan goes down just a little bit?
Promise I'm not being petty. I'm the one they envy, bro. They moving state to state. Make $1 million out to send me. Plus I grinded from the start. I was stacking pennies. I might dip like Machiavelli. After the confetti, who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who?
Yeah, I got 3 term sheets out today. That was good. I'm working out of the lobby here in this extended stay hotel in Atlanta, Georgia, while I'm escaping Hurricane Milton. In the last 4 weeks, I've had 2 conferences and 2 hurricanes, but I am getting term sheets out, and that's what it's all about.
Did you reach out to my brother while you're in
I
Atlanta?
did. I've been texting your brother, and he is awesome, and we'll leave it at that.
Is he younger or older than Krogi?
He is my younger brother.
He's funny as heck, man.
So
And
he's
he gave me a bunch of
72?
good advice. Yeah. He's giving me the laydown of he knows the area super well where I'm at, and he gave me a bunch of good
Yeah.
advice of like places to check out. And
Oh,
he's
I'm
like,
sure he did.
yeah, he gave me a lot of funny, good lay of the land. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he is my younger brother. I've got him by 3 years, but he is my bigger brother. He's 6'3", about 270 pounds. He played ball. He played football in college, so
That's
He's
like
a
a
big
lot
dude.
bigger than you, and height-wise too.
he is
'cause
a lot bigger than me.
Yeah, I mean, because even I'm taller than you.
It doesn't take much. I mean, I'm 5'10" on a good day when I wear thick-soled sneakers.
Hey, 5'10" is a solid height. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with 5'10".
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about, Glenn. You know what's up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the BDO Show, the #1 podcast in the nation for passionate BDOs wanting to level up their game with advice and stories from battle-tested BDOs. I'm your co-host, Emily Detour, and I'm here with my fellow co-hosts, Alan Peterson, Ryan Krogi, and special guest, Glenn Giro. At the beginning of each episode, we're always going to remind you to like, subscribe, and we'll actually smash that like button and send your topics and suggestions over to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. BDOs. Have you ever had a borrower bring in like a brother-in-law to do their life insurance? Doesn't end well, does it? We've all been there. When you require life insurance on your SBA loan, it's critical that you bring in a company that specializes in getting these policies in place for the SBA loans. The last thing you want is for life insurance to be the holdup. We all know that's a rookie mistake. SBA Protection Quick Close Life Insurance is the fastest, easiest way to secure the insurance protection that your borrower needs for their SBA loan. Their process is simple, hassle-free, and only takes a few minutes of your borrower's time. No lengthy paperwork, no complicated forms. They even have programs that don't require labs or doctor records for approval. And best of all, you will have the collateral assignment back in less than 24 hours. It's a no-brainer. Go to sbaprotection.com for more information or email Adam Bergen at adam@sbaprotection.com. All right, so today's episode, we are going to talk about when it's time to switch banks. And on this episode, we have 3 guys. Obviously, you guys have all been at different banks. You've switched, you've moved around. That's very common for BDOs, especially when you feel like maybe it's time for a change or you've outgrown where you were. So Glenn, why don't we talk about first maybe a little bit of history, because I know you recently switched banks, which congratulations. I know switches are always good. It's nice to get out of your comfort zone. So why don't you talk about that quickly, how you kind of came to that decision when it was time to move on?
Yeah, for me it was really difficult. It wasn't a scenario where I was upset at the shop I was at or the leadership. It was actually the opposite. I had great relationships with the people I worked with. I believe that they're a shop that was dedicated to being a top SBA lender. They truly meant it when they said they wanted to be the top shop. There was tons of resources that they provided. So it definitely wasn't a scenario where I was, not happy or anything like that. In our world, we get recruiters reaching out to us all the time, and calls, LinkedIn, all that. Honestly, I didn't entertain any of those advances. It really came down to somebody who I really trusted in the industry, who I think probably knows the landscape of what's happening better than anybody else. And he honestly just said, "Hey, Glenn, I know you're not really actively looking, but I really think you should listen to what this shop has to say." And I trust him, and I did that. And obviously I went in kind of with a list, and to be honest, it had to check every single box on that list for me to even consider it, right? Because again, when you're happy at a place, the one thing you don't want to do is kind of upset the apple cart. And next thing you know, you're at a place and you're miserable and you're regretting it. So in my situation, it was definitely difficult. It was a very difficult choice to make, but like I said, I think I went through it in the right way with an open mind. And at the end of the day, I had to make a decision that was best for me and my family.
You see that? You see all that, recruiters? All you have to do is just try really hard and you'll finally get one. No, I'm just kidding. Stay out my LinkedIn inbox, please.
Yeah, don't.
For the record, it was not a LinkedIn inbox recruiter. I just want to go ahead and throw that out there.
I've seen some really good screenshots from Ryan talking to recruiters in LinkedIn. We'll leave it at that.
I've got a checklist too, Glenn. It seems to be pretty lofty, though. I usually get okay, I'll check in another year. Yeah, all right, guy. I said, I'm perfectly fine.
So another thing I was going to touch on was that, you guys have all been in the industry for a very long time. And Glenn, I feel like after 10 years, we can kind of speak to the new BDOs when they're first starting in their career. You may not have that many check boxes. Maybe you do, and you're just kind of putting them on a back burner to kind of fill what you need to do in your new role as a BDO, and kind of go with the bank and go with the flow and see what it's like there. And then as you grow, you add more boxes that you want to check for your personal growth as a BDO. So why don't we talk about the leading indicators that would cause you to consider changing shops or needing to grow?
Yeah. So what would be on that magic checklist, Glenn, that you put together, the must-haves? This is the Glenn Giro Christmas wish list. I mean, here it is. We're talking about October. It's almost Halloween, but Christmas is right around the corner, guys. It's just under 70 more shopping days until Christmas. So let's get it together.
Only old people know that.
No tricks, just treats.
Just treats.
What type of check boxes have you added to your list, Glenn, over the years where you were like, all right, I think it's time for me to consider changing shops?
Yeah, well, I think when you're as established, Alan and Ryan and Sterling and Chris, I mean, these, all these guys are extremely, when you get to that level of establishment, and trust, I don't consider myself there, but your checklist should be longer, right? Like you should really, especially if you're happy where you're at. Obviously, if you don't like where you're at, then more than likely you might compromise on that checklist. Hey, if it checks 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10, that's good enough for me. At least it'll be a fresh start somewhere. But when you're happy with where you're at and things are going well, like it's got to hit 10. I mean, you kind of have to hit 10 out of 10. And obviously those check boxes can be different depending on what's priority for you. But, for me, obviously it was the main things, right? When you think of credit box, if you're going to talk to a new shop, you better understand the kind of deals they like and what deals they don't like and what industries do they like, what industries they don't like. Do they like the 7-figure air balls? What is the minimums and maximums and understanding kind of that thing, because you want to obviously go in knowing that, hey, the deals that I like to do are gonna fly there. And obviously that, then that follows up with a commitment to lend. Are they trying to grow? Are they giving you the indication that, hey, we're kind of ranked here right now in the SBA 7A rankings, but we aspire to be more. So we want to bring in more deals. So obviously having that message is really important. And obviously the management and the leadership, like, you're going to have a new boss, and what's that relationship going to be like? How well do you connect on the phone? Is it a conversation that is, two like-minded people talking, really talking shop, and you can tell their love for the SBA program it really goes well with my love for the SBA program. One of the things that I really liked during the interview process was I got to talk to the president of the bank. I mean, and that's the top, and you want to make sure there's a vision that's aligned from the top to the bottom. Everybody is dedicated and focused on growing the shop, because you want to be a place that's growing, right? You don't want to be a place that's matured and they're kind of just happy. Hey, we're happy here. And that they're not trying to reach another level. Those are the type of things that you have to consider. Obviously, from a competition standpoint, I mean, there's no secret. This is probably the most competitive this space has ever been. There's more shops opening up, feels like every week. And is that shop? What's their competitive advantage? It's not just doesn't just have to be interest rate. I mean, are they super efficient? Do they have really talented people kind of behind the scenes? I kind of say an SBA shop's like a butcher shop, right? Like we kind of work the front. It should be nice and clean and have a nice presentation. But sometimes behind the scenes, it can be pretty messy back there. So how well is your shop kind of operating? And that's an advantage. But also with rate, sometimes you do have to sharpen the pencil and win with rate. So what's their appetite for sometimes having to skinny that spread a little bit. So that was big for me. Another box was reputation in the market. When you ask people about that bank, what's the feedback you get? When you ask the market about some of the people that work there, what's the feedback you get? It was really important to me to ask questions from colleagues and get some feedback that that's actually a really good shop. I know of them. I know those people, and so that was super important.
You're naming probably the top what most BDOs look for. You're pretty much putting together the perfect shop.
When I made a move from my previous institution. I was an SVP director of small balance lending and responsible for personal production.
Ooh,
I get in
there. Big guy.
I get into that in episode 72 of the Art of SBA Lending podcast, as we all know. But for me, I was excited to, like Glenn said, to talk to the people. Right, I spoke to the sales manager, and then I spoke to the chief credit officer. And I talked to him again, right, and made sure that we were aligned. For me, the autonomy and the trust of being able to feel like I'm kind of doing my thing, I'm trusted to do my thing, that was a really big deal for me, rather than having a lot of meetings and things that I was used to. There was a lot of meetings that could have been emails. We'll leave it at that, And like for me, being able to kind of feel that freedom was it was a much bigger motivator. And honestly, that silly title aside, I mean, dude, I just want to get back into production, right? Like what is expected of me, and what kind of deals can we do? So for me, I thought that the autonomy was a big deal. Find out what the week looks like. If you're a BDO and you're considering, making a move, what does it look like on a week-to-week basis? Do you have a mandatory pipeline meeting? How many meetings do you have? How frequently are they? Do you have to do site visits? Do you have to go visit every single customer in person? Well, if you got 2 young kids, you can't meet your customer on Zoom. You can't make a determination on character by telephone and Zoom. You have to fly there on every single deal. These are things that you need to find out about and consider, because the box is good. Being able to drop pants on rate if you got to, great, good for you, right? But at the end of the day, it's, do I want to enjoy where I'm working? And that's what I've found in my current opportunity. That and being able to run with the big dogs. I knew that there are people here putting up really, really impressive numbers, very well-established folks that I could learn from. That was a big driver for me. It was, how do I develop further in my career? Is this a place for me to grow, right? And that was my driver personally.
Autonomy was massive for me, but I don't think you get an opportunity to really put together as in depth of a list and as in depth of wants, like Glenn was just talking about, without having that experience. Like Emily said, you got 10 years experience, you've been to different shops, you've seen and talked to all types of different BDOs, good, bad, and ugly, that you've heard of at their shops. So you kind of in your mind format, your wish list, your Christmas list, exactly what you would want to have at the perfect shop. But you don't really get to know if the grass is greener until you get to kick the tires, right? Until you get to talk to everyone from the C level down and really kind of figure it out. Right. For me, it took working at a shop that started off, a big shop. It started off small, had almost no presence in Michigan, grew exponentially over my almost 8-year career at that institution, and then became a stale corporate environment that no matter how much I did, $60-70 million, no matter how much I outperformed everybody every single year, come January, it was, what have you done for me lately? What are you doing this year? And it was to the point where I'd be out early morning at meetings, late afternoon at meetings, and I get calls, hey, why aren't you in the office? Well, what are you doing? What's your day looking like? And it just became such a wear on me that autonomy became my number 2. That was my number 2 at any shop I go to and every shop I'll ever be at. Leave me alone and just let me run up the scoreboard. I don't care if I need help, I'll raise my hand, But other than that, don't call me, don't text me, don't do anything, and just except just to say, hey, Ryan was just thinking about you. Here's an emoji. Boo. That's all I need. All right. Other than that, just let me go to town, baby.
Don't
Just
bother
let me
me.
hit it. Yeah, don't bother me. Don't bother me and don't criticize me. Just let me put up my 50, 60 million a year and call it a day. All right. Because I tell every sales manager I've ever worked with, that's what I'm going to do. Don't ask more, don't expect less, and just leave me alone. So that's like my number two that I always look for is autonomy. So if
Yeah.
you guys, Glenn, Al, if you guys had a top three, like your top three, everything else will fall into place. Your top three that you've got to have at an SBA shop, what would it be? Al, I want to start with you because I want Glenn to go last.
Okay. For me, culture, right? A culture of winning, a culture of growth, a culture where the organization is trying to actively grow, where SBA is not something that they offer, but it's what they do. SBA lending provides significant value for the shareholders. That's the mission. We're sticking to it. I know then that the right people are supporting the program and the division that I'm going to work for. That's number one, commitment to SBA lending. Number two is that buzzword again, autonomy. Leave me alone. I'll put my hand up if I need you, but I need to be trusted, and I need you to trust me and understand that I know what I'm doing, right? That's a big one. And number three, I'll just be totally transparent with you, the ability to control my own destiny. Yes, compensation matters, and it does matter to me. I have a young family, right? And that's important to me. I want to make sure that I can control my own destiny. And if I'm going to work harder, then I want to be able to make the bank more money. When I make the bank more money, I get a little cut of the action. And those are the top three things for me.
That's awesome. So mine's almost similar. My number one, I beat it like a dead horse all the time here on the show. Work life balance. I gotta have a work life balance, man. I've got to be able to spend time with my girls. I've got two adult children. I've got two younger children. I've got a beautiful wife that I love to spend time with. I've got to be able to have time for me, and I got to have time for my family. I worked at an institution one time where I put up, I think, 74 million one year, and I took all of January off. And I think I told this story before. I took all of January off, and my manager at the time came to me and goes, well, what's going on? You've done nothing in the entire month of January. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll still hit about 60 million this year. He goes, and he was like freaking out. I'm like, dude, I did 74 last year, and I think it was a tune of like 104 loans. You know, it was massive. It was something extremely stupid. I'm like, man, I'm burnt out. I need like some time. I need to
R&R.
actually sleep in. You know, I need to
Dude.
relax. So,
Yeah.
you know, took the family on a vacation, hung out, just relaxed. I just needed to recharge. You know, it just mentally and physically was draining. So number one is that work-life balance. Number two, autonomy. I already hit that. And number three is like you said, Al, culture. Got to be culture, man. I love the people I work with. I think it's great that I get to work with guys like you, Al, Jared, and I. This is like going on to our 9th year working together. You know, that was one of the reasons why I knew First Internet was a shop for me, because I had guys that I'd worked with before coming with us. They hit all of my check boxes, still hit all my check boxes. Just amazing shop. But those are my top three. That's what keeps me motivated on a daily basis, is because I get that work-life balance. I get that autonomy, and I get to be in a work culture that just promotes excellence, that just promotes the best of the best and a fun atmosphere. It's great. So Glenn, my man, you've been staring at that Christmas list for a while now. You open it up Christmas morning, and what's in the box? Tea bag, right? It's got everything that you want. So what's your top three, brother?
Everything Alan said, I was like, yeah, I think that's it. Then you start talking. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I mean, I will say this, obviously a shop that shares the passion for SBA lending. Like I want to be at a place that loves it like I do. You know, I think the reason why we're here talking on a BDO show is because we love this program. We believe in it. And I want to be at a shop that shares that feeling. Like that's first and foremost. If this is a secondary program, or this is not priority for a bank, that's probably not going to be a good fit for me. So I definitely think that's important. You know, autonomy is huge. Work-life balance. You know, I kind of, we're remote lenders. That gives us some work-life balance because we're not having to hop in a car and drive into an office and be there late night because we have something we can't do when we get home. That's super important. You know, on that note, one of the things that I have now that I didn't have before was a BDA, or lending assistant, right?
Oh, that's huge.
Shout out Carrie.
Shout out Carrie. when you're wanting to do 30, 40, 50 million plus, you need
There you
help,
go.
or
Yeah.
you're not going to have work-life balance. You kind of need to make a decision. What's important? Is it important to do 50, 60 million, have no work-life balance, or do that much, have somebody to help you out, and maybe your comp plan goes down just a little bit? I'm happy to do that, right? That wasn't even a question whether or not that was okay. And then the last one I think is just, I'm big on growth, right? I want a shop that says, "Hey, we're here," and manage growth. I think it's so important. You can just hire a bunch of salespeople, and some will work out, some won't. No big deal. But let's just hire a bunch, and we'll see where. I want controlled, managed growth. Especially if you have a team with a really good team with really good producers. I honestly think you get the right group of people together, and you manage that growth, you'll actually outproduce bigger teams that are having issues,
100%.
log jamming deals in. And so, I guess those are kind of my three, I guess you could say, which is not, I don't think is that different from your guys, but yeah, I'll go with those.
So you just talked about growth here, and I wanted to talk about, Glenn, how important is it that you align with a bank that supports growth in SBA, and what factors should a BDO look for when evaluating new opportunities?
I think understanding where the bank is in its life cycle, right? Obviously you've got some of the big banks that are doing top lending, and I think they're always going to be striving to stay up top. And so that's one thing, right? Do you want to be part of kind of those larger banks that are probably pretty established, probably have a pretty built out team, but obviously you're going to ask some of the same questions, right? You're going to ask kind of how, turnaround times and kind of what the process is. Do you get support? Those type of things. By going to a little bit of a smaller shop, there's obviously risk in that too, right? Because, what happens in a year if they don't meet their first annual goal? I mean, could somebody turn around and say, you know what, this is not for us like I thought it was. So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons. And that's when you're kind of going through the interview process. Like technically we're getting interviewed, but really, you should be doing as much interviewing as they are to you, right? And you should find out, what their goals and aspirations are, and what happens, and what plans are they putting in place to meet those, right? What kind of support staff? There's so many people behind the scenes that help us make this work. Like we could not do this alone. Not only can we not do this alone, we need a lot of people behind us to make this thing work. And so that kind of dedication to giving those support people, hopefully treating them the way that they deserve to be treated, because they do tons of work too. When we're on the front lines, kind of battling, with each other, trying to obviously bring in production to the bank. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people behind us that we rely on to make this thing
It's your
work.
tribe, man. We talk about them all the time. We always
That's right.
talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
those guys.
Can't
They're
do
the
without them.
best.
That's good stuff, Glenn.
How about challenges that you faced? How about Alan? How about challenges you faced during the transition?
I was leaving my best friends. I'll jump right on there. Funny that Chris and Sterling aren't on this one, but I was really plugged in with my community, and I had a place. I belonged. It was what I knew, and it was my culture. But I felt that for me, the challenge was to determine, what does Alan Peterson look like 3 years from now if I remain stagnant, or if I take the chance to try to be part of this growth story and this growth trajectory. What does my career look like in the longer term? And for me, that's what ultimately motivated me to make the move. It was funny. We were on the Flagel panel, and Chris said, Al, is kind of funny, man. And Chris was moderating, of course, and this topic came up. And Chris mentioned, he goes, yeah, I think we went out to dinner on Saturday. I paid, and Monday you were gone. What happened? And then we ran out of time. So classic Matthew doing it to me. But it was, for me, it was just hard because it was what I knew. It was what I felt like was my identity. And I just knew that I was very comfortable. So to your point, Glenn, it's like I was doing more of the interviewing. I was more cautiously looking. Tyler Mirage, he was trying to talk to me about the shop. I'm like, dude, like, no way. You know what I mean? And then as time went on, I realized that he really was looking out. So shout out to Tyler for that. But yeah, for me, that was the biggest challenge. It was what I knew, and it was the fear of the unknown. And then I had to kind of embrace that and take a jump, and it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, probably the biggest thing for, I think, every BDO is pipeline management, right? It's all about pipeline timing, because let's face it doesn't matter what your timing is, what the season is, you're going to leave money on the table. That's just what it's going to be. So you've got to be very precise and try to time it to where you have your lulls in your production. And everybody does. This business is either cyclical or it's seasonal or it's a little bit of both. So you just know when you have those lulls, you want to leave as little on the table as possible, right? And then you have to start fresh over again and ramp back up. That's always a pain. I think, I don't want to say fortunate, but it was kind of the appropriate timing with the shop that I was working at before Jared and I jumped here to First Internet. Well, it was during COVID and they just stopped production. They said, no soup for you. You guys are done. No more SBA loans. So it was kind of like, this is pretty good point for us to jump ship and go somewhere else. And it just so happened we went someplace that checked all of our boxes. It was great.
And when you guys did switch shops, you said ramping back up can be a process. Have you ever found it to be difficult to ramp back up, or were you guys just like boots on the ground, ready to go?
It can be difficult. It honestly, it depends. It depends on the season. It depends on how organized you are. And honestly, right now, it was so much easier in 2020 than it was back in 2016 because of digital media, because of social media, just because of how connected everybody is digitally right now. Whereas in 2016, it was like, I'm calling, I'm emailing, I'm trying to get the word out. And fortunately, the bank I left was also calling on my referral sources. And they're like, really? Where did he go? I wonder if his cell phone still works. And they were pushing them to call me. So
Brian had a rotary phone.
I did. I had a rotary phone and this
A
little
fax
thing called
machine.
A Rolodex.
Glenn's like, I was waiting for an old joke.
Hey, you jumped in just in time. You know what? Oh, here we go. So now
he's probably still got one in a drawer somewhere.
I've got,
Here we go.
my boxes of cards. I've got this whole entire drawer right here is filled with these boxes of cards that are in alphabetical order, and it's got to be, I'm not kidding, like 20 something years worth of cards that I've collected over the time. And I don't know why, but I feel like they're baseball cards that I just can't get rid of for whatever stupid reason. So they just kind of sit here and follow me from whatever house I'm moving to or from whatever office I'm moving back and forth.
You literally age yourself. I love every part of it. It's my favorite.
You should just randomly pick a card a day and call them. Just, hey, checking in on you. See how things
Yeah.
going.
You know what? In one of our shows,
that would
we
be
were
a good
talking
idea.
about pipeline management. And I was talking about my freaky spreadsheets, right? And that how I've kept tabs on my production for the last 10 years on this spreadsheet. And I've gone back, about 5 years and just called and just checked in. I've just checked in. Hey, man, remember in 2018, 2017, we did this. Oh, yeah, this and that. Hey, you know what? My nephew needs this, or I was thinking about selling, or whatever. It always spurs something. It always spurs a referral. So it never hurts, like you said, Glenn. I mean, start picking some of these out and start calling them. The only problem is some of these, I know we're in Oakland County and have a Detroit zip code, area code, so I know they're really old.
You're a relationship guy, which I kind of came up through business banking as like my job for a while was as a relationship manager. I managed the entire business bank relationship, the deposits, the treasury, the credit piece. And I think that was one of the best kind of like upbringings in business banking because I learned the value of the relationship. We're kind of in a transactional job. You need money, okay, get approved, close the loan, good luck. It can be very transactional. You never talk to that person again. And while that's kind of the case a lot of times, because once the transaction's over, they're off doing their thing, like, that relationship, because guess what? That person goes to a party, and with the peers and, hey, I heard you bought a business. That's awesome. How'd you do that? You got to talk to Ryan Kroge. He's the man, like the entire time he was there, had a great relationship. Like that's so important. Like the relationship is, I think that's kind of undervalued a lot of times with some BDOs is they kind of have that transactional mindset. This is a relationship, you're building a relationship. So yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that.
And I think that's where some of the better BDOs, some of the top BDOs that are very well known in our industry, they're the ones that develop relationships and not just with their customer base, not just with their referral base, but with other BDOs, with other sales managers, with other back office people. It's just what this industry needs, are good BDOs who develop great relationships and kind of give the industry a really good name.
Yeah. And starting from scratch at the new place, is definitely challenging too, though, right? Because I want to do things the right way. I didn't, you hear stories when people are moving, they start leaking deals before they jump and all this stuff. I wasn't going to do that to an institution that had done right by me, right? They gave me a shot. They brought me in. I was a broker and they brought me in as a BDO, right? And, I had a lot of gratitude. So I wanted to do everything the right way. And it felt good that I was able to build everything back up again, because it reminded me, like, I can get back to basics. I can do this. I can still do the things that I did in the very beginning, rather than it coming to me. I had to go out and get it. But to your point, I wasn't actively trying to bring anything over, but my partners just called my cell phone, and it was just a different email, because they knew that I was going to answer the phone. So that relationship thing, I just want to kind of piggyback that, as you guys were saying, it is the difference in a very transactional world. Long-term relationships matter, and you can try to know their anniversary dates, right? You can try to get Krogi level on it, but at the very least, just keeping that good, open, honest connection with human beings, not just about money, human being connections. It's all the difference in the world, and that makes that transition period a lot easier.
Now, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up, Al. Deal leaking. If any BDO is thinking about changing shops and thinking about deal leaking, I highly advise against it for two main reasons. The first one is reputational risk.
Yeah.
All right. If
so you're saying
out
deal
there as
leaking? What does
deal
this
leaking,
mean?
meaning you're working at a financial institution, you're going to jump ship. You have not given that financial institution notice, so you've already starting to take deals and give it to that other shop, so that when you start, you have a rolling pipeline. All right, don't do that. It's highly ill-advised for two reasons. Number one is reputational risk. All right, if you are a BDO out in the shop and you've got a reputation of being honest, being straightforward, being above board, and being a certain type of morale and certain type of character, but now you're starting to tell your referral sources, no, send it over here, send it to this guy. I'll be there in a couple weeks. I'll be there in a month. Just keep. You're letting in cracks in your armor. You're letting in weaknesses in your personality, the type of person you are, the character that you are. And that's going to sink into that individual's mind, whether they realize it on the surface or not. Subconsciously, they're going to say, Ryan's a good guy. Ryan's a moral guy, but except for, that when I started sending deals to another bank, that did not feel right.
That was a little weird. Yeah.
Now don't mistake that with, hey, I'm giving you a heads up. I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice in another week. That's different. All right. You're not asking them to ship deals somewhere else. You're just giving them a heads up that things are coming. That's something completely different. Number two, now you're talking about legal issues. All right. Now you are at an institution where you are supposed to be developing business for that institution, and you're purposely sending deals that institution can do to other institutions. Yeah. Just get caught. Just get caught, man. It'll destroy your career. You'll be done. And a couple $1,000s is not worth it. It's not worth it. Trust me. Just tell the deals that you have already in play at that bank. Don't worry about it. The team's going to take care of you. You're going to be fine. We'll work on the next one together. Cut clean. Move to the next institution. I was wondering if someone was going to bring that up today. And for those two reasons, never ever deal leak.
That was going to be my question. And Alan, you can go next if you like, was advice that you have for BDOs who are considering a similar switch. And that was probably number one on the list right there, not to do.
Yeah, just do it the right way. Just do it the right way. If you consider yourself as a commodity with value that you're bringing to your new institution, that you are growing, you're on your path, do it the right way. Don't cut any corners. It's just not worth it, And the other thing to never forget is what a small world this is. How many people know each other? Everybody knows each other. Your sales managers talk to each other. Everybody knows, because it's that attitude of abundance the right folks have. It's not that competition holding everything close to the vest. It's, hey, what do you know about this guy? He might be coming over. Oh, well, he was all right, except for he, scammed my bank. Like that it's just, like Ryan said, just don't do it. Don't do anything that's going to pierce your armor. And just, even if that means it's a little slower rolling, take the long road. Do it the right way. That would be my advice.
Because when you're with a national lender and it's a smaller bank, like most people haven't heard of, it's your reputation. People are shopping with you because it's your reputation, because it's things they've heard about you. And that's all we have in this industry.
So if you leave a shop, go to a new shop, And let's say you're thinking about leaving that shop and going to another shop. That other shop might call, hey, I saw this person's interviewing with us. I saw he worked at your shop. What do you have to say about him? And you don't want them to say that was their last impression of you, that you kind of unethically took deals out the door with you, because that could be a deal breaker. I mean, that could be definitely a deal breaker for the shop you're trying to get a job at. So again, definitely not worth it. There's, right and wrong way to do things. Your new shop knows that you're going to be coming in with a clean slate. If you're a good producer, the deals will come.
Right. That last part, Glenn, that last part is what I think all BDOs need to know. If you're a good producer, the deals will come. They will always come.
All right, guys, this is like my favorite question to ask at the end of each episode. I love parting advice for BDOs who are looking to make a switch and or grow their careers in another direction. So what do we got? Alan, you go first.
I would say to make sure that you're looking at the long term, make sure that you're not making a rash decision based on current inconvenience. So you had a rough day at the office and I'm just going to go to this bank, right? It's a serious discussion you need to have with yourself. And you need to be honest about if you're having challenges, if it's something that you're running, are you running towards something to grow, or are you running from something that really you might be the cause of it, right? So the grass isn't always greener. Do things the right way. And remember, this is your career and it's a long-term play. Do it the right way.
Yeah, I'd say reputation is everything. Don't burn a bridge. Don't piss anybody off on either side or anywhere, whether it's the financial institution you're leaving, the one you're going to, or any of your COIs or anybody in between. Keep all the bridges intact. Now, if they nuke it because they're being childish, like has happened to me before, then you did the best you can. Keep your reputation intact.
If you are thinking of leaving, truly understanding, why, and hopefully if there's some valid reasons you think that there's better opportunities out there, truly understand what those are. Look for a shop that is going to obviously give you the best opportunity to be successful. Hopefully it's not that you're just not producing at this shop, so I'll just jump to this other shop. Really try to hone your craft where you're at. Like, try to get really good where you're at. And if you can accomplish that, we talked about the list of boxes to check, kind of what we mentioned before. The more established you get in this industry, the more boxes you'll have checked as you're looking, right? And so, just continue learning.
And consult your wives, right? Before you just start jumping all over the place.
What?
No?
No.
No. Glenn, thank you so much for being with us today. I got this weird feeling this is not the last time we're going to see you.
Christian Leitner, just let me know.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. And Krogi, Alan, great to see you guys. Everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe to the BDO Show. Send us over your suggestions to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. And do not forget to check out our entire family of shows, including SBA Today. It airs live every week on LinkedIn, as well as our flagship program, The Reason We're All Here, the Art of SBA Lending podcast. And we will see you next time.